You ever going to stop harping on the mages here?
No.
They aren't what you saw in Tevinter.
The moment they are free, mages will make themselves magisters.
They're slaves. You should want to help them.
I don't.
So, there must be mages in Tevinter who don't use blood magic.
Of course. There are slaves. The magisters do not hesitate to collar their own kind.
But no magisters.
Why must you go on about this? No magister would turn down an advantage over his rivals. If he did, he'd be dead.
You know, to use blood magic, you need to look a demon in the eye and accept his offer. I just figured some of them would say no. For aesthetic reasons, if nothing else.
Did I hear correctly? You are an abomination.
Why don't you shout? I don't think everyone heard you.
Do you see yourself as harmless, then? An abomination who would never harm anyone?
Like ripping someone's heart out of his chest?
I did that at the behest of no demon.
So we agree that it doesn't take a demon for someone to be a vicious killer. Good.
Why was your friend made tranquil? Do you know?
No. And it doesn't matter. Nobody deserves that.
I know some mages who deserve that.
Really? Perhaps they should start making slaves tranquil. Then they wouldn't dream of escaping. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Slaves do not attract demons that try to possess them.
Which clearly justifies it. What a perfect solution.
I heard Varric saying you were a Grey Warden.
I was.
I met a Warden once, back in Ferelden. Duncan, I think his name was. Very odd man. He had a marvelous beard, though. I'd never seen one before. I thought a squirrel had grabbed him by the chin. Sir Pouncelot. Who knighted him?
Is that a serious question?
Did he have a little sword, or just his claws? I bet he had a dashing cap with a feather in it.
Would you stop making fun of my cat?
Oh. No hat, then.
So, when you first did blood magic, it was just an accident, right? You cut yourself and realized the power. You didn't actually deal with a demon.
Oh, no, I did.
Why would you do that?
I needed his help. He was really very nice about it.
Of course he was. He's using you to get a foothold in a mortal brain.
He's a spirit. He offered me his aid. I hardly think you're one to criticize.
Maybe you don't really understand the difference between spirits and demons.
Did I ask you?
Spirits were the first children of the Maker. But he turned his back on them, to dote on his mortal creations. The ones who resented this became demons, driven to take everything mortals had and gain back the Maker's favor.
Your Maker is a story you humans use to explain the world. We have our own stories. I don't need to borrow yours.
I'm sorry about your sister. She sounds like a special girl.
Why? Because she was a mage?
Your brother said she had a good heart. Being on the run never made her bitter.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure the Chantry's got a shrine with her portrait on it.
I was trying to be nice.
Stick to Surly. It works for you.
You don't like me, Carver?
I don't like you.
That's unfortunate. Hating someone just because they're a mage is a shameful thing.
I don't hate you because you're a mage. I hate you because you won't shut up about it. Oppression this, Templars that. I'd heard enough long before you.
Maybe it's time you put some thought into it.
What are you looking at?
Your brother is a mage, as were your sister and father.
And I'm not. What of it?
Nothing. It's not always passed to all siblings. But it's good to know you understand our plight.
Shove your plight.
Nice day to be planning a trip into the deep roads, don't you think? The blight, the dampness, the festering darkness filled with tainted rats.
Shut up.
You've got a real chip on your shoulder, you know.
I've got a big blade on my shoulder, Magey.
Right. Wonder what you're compensating for.
Hello? Is Anders there? Can I speak to Anders?
You can stop yelling. It's always me.
Oh, good. I didn't want to talk to that other guy. You know, the stick in the mud.
He can still hear you. Justice and I are one. Anyway, you wanted to talk to me?
Not really. I just wanted to make sure it was you.
Isabella, You never talk about the Major's plight.
What's there to say?
There's plenty to say.
And you say enough for the lot of us, don't you think?
So you're telling me you have no opinion on the matter?
None whatsoever.
That can't be true.
No, I'm afraid I'm really this shallow.
I keep thinking I know you from somewhere.
You're Ferelden, right? Ever spend time at the Pearl?
That's it. You used to really like that girl with the griffin tattoos, right? What was her name?
The Lay Warden?
That's right. I think you were there the night I...
Oh! Were you the runaway mage who could do that electricity thing? That was nice.
Please, stop talking. Now.
Sometimes I think you have the right idea.
Handcuffs, whipped cream, always be on top.
I never used to give two bits what anyone thought of me. Justice once asked me why I didn't do more for other mages. I told him it was too much work, but I couldn't go back after that. Couldn't stop thinking about it. Sometimes I miss being that selfish.
Huh? Were you talking? I was still at whipped cream.
What?
Just wondering if the feather cauldrons are an essential part of the move.
Let's finish this!
What are you talking about?
I'm working on an epic poem about a hopelessly romantic apostate, waging an epic struggle against forces he can't possibly defeat.
What do you mean, can't possibly defeat?
Well, it's not a good story unless the hero dies. So, a human, an elf, and a dwarf walk into a bar.
The human says, "You're lucky you're so short. That hurt like mad."
You could have just stopped me, Blondie.
Why waste a perfectly good setup? So, you married a Templar, huh?
What of it?
Are they all as dirty as they seem?
What?
Did he ever ask you to play the naughty mage and the hapless recruit? Maybe the secret desire demon and the upstanding knight?
That's disgusting.
I hear it's quite popular.
I hear good things about you, Anders. Not what I expected.
From a mage, you mean?
I didn't say that.
How else would you judge me? What else am I a shining example of?
I don't know. Other Fereldans lurking in Darktown? Mage or not?
You have a fair point.
I could use your consult, Anders.
Bring it to Darktown and I'll get you a salve or something.
What? No. I need to know some things about mages.
Why?
I'm a guard. I'm the first person who has to deal with trouble.
You want help killing people like me?
Not every mage can be trusted.
Nor every guard. Do you ever miss Ferelden?
Of course. It was home. I would never have left willingly. But I'm not going to be my father and spend my life trying to live a memory.
I didn't think I'd give it a second thought once I was gone. I mean, what did Ferelden ever do for me? But I do. I think about it. There's something here that just doesn't feel right.
You mean how mages are treated?
No. I think there's not enough dog shit.
So this master of yours wants your markings back? Skin and all?
So his hunters told me, unwillingly.
So why not cover them up? Wouldn't that make you harder to find?
Let them come. I am not one to hide.
Still, if it were me...
It's not.
You're very different from other elves.
Oh? You know them all?
No, I just... You look different. There's no denying that.
It is what I am. And unlike the problems you claim to have, I really did have no choice.
Do we know anyone who isn't brooding every hour of the day?
Like attracts like, it seems.
So you've really never thought of hiding from those hunters?
To what end?
So you could, I don't know, have a life?
What life do you have? There are no hunters after you at all.
I have a life.
One that you complain about. We are not always free to do as we wish, as you should well know.
I do have a life.
Then I stand corrected.
You know, Fenris, I have a tattoo.
You have a what?
A tattoo. A lot of us got them before Ostagar. It's a Mabari, for strength.
Does it curse you with the ability to reach into a man and tear out his insides?
I can make it bark.
Please don't.
So, Elf, that thing you do with your hand,
I can already tell this isn't going anywhere pleasant.
I bet that makes pickpocketing easier.
I'll try it sometime and find out. I thought all dwarves had beards. Where's yours?
I misplaced it, along with my sense of dwarven pride and my gold-plated noble cast pin.
I thought maybe it fell onto your chest.
Oh, the broody elf tells a joke.
I don't brood.
Friend, if your brooding were any more impressive, women would swoon as you passed. They'd have broody babies in your honor.
You're a very odd dwarf.
And you thought I was joking about the pin.
I enjoy a man with markings like that.
You've enjoyed many, I suspect.
Where I come from, they're called tattoos. Sailors get them all the time.
Not made of lyrium, I'd imagine.
Not a one. And the pictures are different. Usually breasts.
I suppose a pair of lyrium breasts tattooed onto my chest would make things better.
That's me. I'm a helper.
So you freed a group of slaves?
Would-be slaves. They weren't slaves yet.
Still, you did the right thing. Many would turn a blind eye.
Don't read too much into it, all right? It just seemed a good idea at the time. So what's with that magical fisting thing you do?
Sorry?
You know, when you stick your hand into people.
Oh, that. Yes, it's, talent.
You could make so much coin with that.
So this relic you mentioned losing...
You have pretty eyes.
I have pretty eyes.
You elves have such pretty eyes. Even the men. It makes me want to pluck them out and wear them as a necklace.
I wouldn't suggest trying.
Oh, I would never try. Not without reason, of course.
Forget I said anything.
This one time, I was sailing to Lemerin, and there was a fight between two of my men. It was over a dice game, or the last piece of toast or something. Sailors, they're touchy about their toast.
Is this going anywhere?
It will if you let me finish. So, there's a knife fight, and Jim ends up with a broken-off blade stuck in his shoulder. It's buried deep in there, and we're out at sea at least a week from the nearest port. If you were there, you could have reached in and plucked that blade right from his flesh.
That's your whole point?
Pretty much.
Why are you watching me like that?
You have Valasleen. The same markings that the Dalish have.
Yours are not made of lyrium.
No, they're made of blood. Our blood. That's what Valasleen means. Blood writing. It's a mark of adulthood.
Mine were carved into my flesh against my will, in a ritual I remember only for the agony it caused me.
I'm so sorry. You've probably never met a Dalish before, have you?
I wouldn't know.
I'm sure you'd be able to tell. Dalish aren't much like the elves in the cities.
The smug sense of superiority does give you away. I don't want your pity.
Are you talking to me?
You said you were sorry about the ritual I endured. Keep your sorrow.
I only meant...
You have all the freedom none of our kind enjoy, and you throw it away. On what?
Our people need to reclaim their heritage.
A heritage of defeat? To what end?
Would you truly turn your back on your own history? There's so much we don't know.
It's not my history. It's simply history.
Certainly your people have stories about the Dalish, no?
My people?
The elves in Tevinter. They must have heard of us.
They've heard. They just don't care.
But if they run away, the Dalish would help them.
You might as well say, if they flew into the sky, they could live in the clouds.
What would they eat in the clouds? There's nothing there but fluff and the occasional bird.
This is why nobody takes the Dalish seriously. I understand you're named after a famous knight.
Everyone always brings up the name.
I've not heard of Sir Aveline. Is she very famous?
Really? They don't tell of her glorious downfall in Tevinter?
Not to slaves.
Pardon me for saying so, but thank the Maker for that.
You do not like your name?
My name is a wish my father made, and I did want to be a knight, but...
I see. Still, it's a good name. A strong name.
What were you named after?
I don't know my real name. My master called me Fenris, his little wolf.
Could you not call yourself something different now?
Couldn't you?
A fine point. Are you safe, Fenris?
No.
You know, some guards give people the opportunity to lie if it will keep the peace.
You can see what I am. Lie to yourself if you must.
You are known, Fenris.
What?
I'm going through Jevon's neglected reports. Some involve you and requests about you.
By whom?
I don't know. They're old, poorly kept. But you should be on your best behavior.
Thank you for getting rid of them.
I didn't.
I've never met a dwarf before.
That's because you've spent too much time frolicking in the woods, Daisy. Dwarves don't frolic.
Dalish don't really frolic either. Not in the woods, anyway.
You have sanctioned frolicking areas?
No, just not in the woods. The trees get jealous.
But you do frolic.
Of course we do. We wouldn't be elves otherwise. Thank you very much for the help earlier, Varric.
You made it back to the alienage in one piece, then?
I don't know how I wound up in Darktown. There are just too many corners in Kirkwall.
Still got that ball of twine?
I left it at my house. Don't worry, I won't get lost while we're following Hawk.
Bring it next time, Daisy. Just in case.
You remind me of Harren Pyvel, Varric. Only younger and shorter, and not as serious.
So, it's a close resemblance, then?
Well, he tells stories, and you tell stories. Although none of his begin, "No shit, there I was."
I'll have to give him some better stories, then. Daisy, for my sake, please quit cutting through the alleys in Lowtown alone at night.
Nothing ever happens. I'm perfectly safe, Varric.
Yes, I know. And that nothing is costing me a fortune.
Do you really like sailing?
Like it? I love it. The salt spray on my face, the wind whipping by my ears, the gulls screaming overhead. I love it all.
Oh, don't you get sick? I was so sick on our trip across the sea.
Were you in the hold?
Everyone was in the hold.
There's your problem. You need to be up on deck, under the sky, with nothing between you and the horizon. Sailing is like sex. Do it wrong, and it'll make you sick. But do it right, and there's no feeling in the world like it. It's not always fun and games on the sea, though. There are storms and hostile pirates. And it's trying being cooped up with men who haven't seen a woman in months.
You're a woman.
Exactly. And I don't usually let them touch me, so they get frustrated. I insist all of them get alone time. Helps with the crankiness.
They're already lonely. Why would you insist they be alone some more?
Ah, Meryl.
What? Did I miss something?
Go think about it. Maybe it'll come to you.
How do you do that?
Do what, kitten?
You sort of swagger when you walk. I've been trying, but I trip over my own feet when I do it.
You just strut. It's not something you practice.
How do I learn it then?
It comes to you, usually at night. It's like a lover, or maybe a burglar. Either it ravishes you, or runs off with all your jewelry, and you have to run it down and stab it in the heart. And that metaphor got a bit away from me, didn't it?
I think it did, but it was certainly exciting. Do you have a parrot, Isabella?
What would I want a parrot for?
What about a peg leg? Do you have one of those?
You can see that I don't, dear.
Eye patch?
I'm disappointing you terribly, aren't I? And no hook for a hand either.
Seems that Varric's pirate stories are awfully inaccurate.
He knows, kitten. He likes them better that way.
You must really like the Hawk family.
Why do you say that?
You came all the way from Lothering with them, didn't you? And they're not even your clan.
Humans don't have clans, Meryl.
Exactly. You came so far together, and you didn't even have a keeper to make you get along.
So your keeper tells you to stop kicking each other, or she'll turn the Aravel around?
Sometimes she also warns us to stop pulling hair. I would like to know more about being a guard, Avelin.
I don't think that's the job for you.
I know, but it might help me not get caught.
You probably shouldn't have said that part.
Why?
Just... never mind.
Did Lothering have an alienage?
It wasn't a big enough village to have a wall around it, let alone a place for elves.
Where did the elves live then?
Stables and outbuildings mostly.
I think I like alienages better. Why don't you arrest us, Avelin?
What?
We break the law, I'm pretty sure. There are laws for almost everything. You're not a bad guard, are you?
No.
That's good. Is it because you're fond of Hawk? I kind of am.
How very nice for you. Keep it to yourself.
I'd rather keep it with him.
So, you're not like a lot of other girls?
No, I'm an elf.
Right. All right then.
Oh, did I miss something dirty?
What? No, it wasn't dirty. It wasn't anything.
Oh, right. Because I miss a lot of dirty things, and sometimes I wouldn't mind hearing them.
Would you now?
Do you miss it? Ferelden, I mean.
Sometimes.
Blackberries. They don't seem to grow here. And there were little songbirds with black caps on their heads.
I sort of missed the dogs barking.
Yes. It's mostly been humans barking at me here. Not nearly as cute. How did you learn swording?
Swording?
Those things you do with the sword. It looks tricky. Was it hard to learn?
Takes a lot of practice.
Well, you seem good at it. I bet one day you'll be the best sworder in Kirkwall.
Meryl...
I said something wrong again, didn't I? Maybe I'll just stop talking.
Your people came a long way, Meryl. But I'd like to think we have Ferelden in common.
I never saw Lothering. Did you walk as much as we did? Probably more. You didn't start with Hala. Our ship stunk.
Your ship?
There was something foul in the hold. Oh, I can still smell it.
Oh, well, that must have been unpleasant.
It was. Did I miss another dirty thing?
No.
Do men find you intimidating? What about Wesley? Did he?
Isabella.
What? Too soon?
Too soon, too personal, too... everything coming from you.
Oh, sore spot.
If you don't shut up, I'll give you a sore spot. So, Isabella, you're a captain.
That's right, big girl. What of it?
I don't remember your name on any registries. Every ship that docks has to declare.
I never docked. And you're no port authority.
And you are no merchant.
Ooh, scrutiny. You have such pretty hair. What a lovely color.
Other children used to laugh at me for having ginger hair.
Really? Oh, I bet you were cute. Did you have pigtails?
Sometimes.
How precious. Little Avelin running around the village with her flaming orange pigtails streaming behind her. And little boys all scattering and screaming for mercy as she approached.
Shut up, whore.
Well, Captain. Can I call you Captain? You can call me Captain.
I won't be doing that.
Neither will I, because you're a guard captain. No real authority. Not like on a ship.
Well, you would know about having a large number of men under you.
You've been waiting to use that one. Did you practice?
Shut up.
So, Isabella, you captained a ship. That's a lot of men to handle, for you to command.
Well, aren't you just adorable, fumbling for a topic?
You say that like I'm harmless.
As harmless as a pup that will someday grow into its fangs and sink them deep.
Sure, keep teasing. I'll show you how much of a pup I am.
I know. That's why I do it. I saw you at the Blooming Rose the other night.
What? No, you didn't.
I suppose someone else stole your chin to romance Faith?
That's unlikely. She wasn't even working.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
Carver, what would Mother say?
You're just... That's not what I... Shit.
You look like a man I once dueled. He was a little intimidated by my reputation as a vicious pirate, but rose to the challenge.
He looked like me, you say?
It went on all night, under the stars, the waves lapping at our ankles.
On the beach? In the surf? How did you get a proper footing?
We didn't. There was quite a bit of tumbling around, and we were soaked and sore by the time the sun came up.
Did you win?
I managed to get on top in the end, but I considered it a tie.
Why is it always about sex with you?
It's not. Sometimes it's about sex with other people.
You see? It comes up every single time we talk.
We're just talking, Carver. If it comes up, that's not my fault.
What? I mean, that's not what I meant. It doesn't. Ugh, I hate you so much.
I shit you not, Ravani. It was this big.
There's no way. Impossible. I've had hundreds of those in my hands, and they're never that size.
Would I lie about something so critical?
What are you talking about?
We're discussing knives, of course. Well, daggers, technically. I never remember the difference. Why? What did you think we were talking about? Ravani, stop looking at my chest. My eyes are up here.
But the chest hair...
Do you know how much I suffer under your gaze? I am a person, not an object.
Varick?
Just shitting you. You know, Ravani, you promised me you'd tell me how you're shipwrecked.
I was drunk. I thought the reefs around the wounded coast were made of candy.
Oh, come on.
And a demon told me to do it. It bet me 60 sovereigns and a bottle of port. You're not the only one here who can bullshit, you know?
What are you...
I'll let you run your fingers through it if you want.
Your chest hair. My fingers. Oh, Varick, stop. You're making me quiver.
You know you want to.
Oh, I do. I can't resist you. No woman can.
I know. It's a terrible burden.
Did you approve my application?
I can't make you a guard, Carver.
We were both soldiers. Why won't they take me?
I was an officer, and I follow orders.
No, you don't.
I also think of others before myself. You seem tired of that, and that's dangerous.
Just when it's not my choice. You told them not to take me, didn't you?
Yes.
I'm surprised you still travel with us, Avelin.
Carver, don't.
You're ever so busy with the guardsmen. It must be a burden to slum with the refugees.
It's oddly comforting that you insult me like I'm family.
That wasn't... No, I didn't mean that.
I know, but you should be glad that's how I took it. I don't like some of the people you've been associating with, Carver.
Talk to my brother. He's the one in charge.
Maybe, but I know you get around. This city's full of people who are dead set on ending badly. I don't want to see you end up the same way.
Would asking you to stop spying on me help in the least?
No. So, Carver, have you thought about what you'll do if your expedition doesn't pay off?
This is our only chance, and you know it.
You're so damned proud you couldn't pick up a trade.
And who would take a Ferelden apprentice? Maybe in another year I could work my way up to Piss Boy.
Fine, let's crawl down some holes. Good bloody luck for your sake.
A Ferelden in the guard. What will they think of next?
You have a problem with that?
Me? My family's not native either. I'm just surprised. A lot of old prejudice in the guard.
I'll give them plenty of reason to change their minds.
You know, it's possible they're just scared shitless of you. That's my theory, anyway. So, what do you do, Avelin?
You know I'm a guard. Why are you asking?
I mean in your off-duty hours, for fun. You've heard of it, I hope.
These are my off-duty hours.
And the trend of you scaring the piss out of me continues.
Varick, do you do anything?
Am I the next stop in your career evaluations? Joy of joys.
You watch and you talk. Is that it?
You are dismissing hallmarks of both the utterly ineffectual and the incredibly dangerous.
I don't know what you mean.
It means coins flow when I talk and when I shut up. Like if you got paid to guard or unguard.
That makes no sense.
Good.
Maybe I should put you to use, Varric. Have you penned some warnings for the lawless?
Who's that for? Are most criminals big readers? Seems like pacifying the nobles.
Pictures, then. It was just a suggestion.
Well, how about a giant sign that just says don't? You could hit people with it.
Thank you. I get the point.
You know, Junior, you're looking at this all wrong.
Whatever it is you're about to say, I'm not interested.
I'm a professional younger brother. Trust me, the center of attention's the worst place to be. When things go wrong, and they always do, that's where all the fingers point. Look at any kingdom in Thedas. You've got people who warm thrones, and people nobody sees who do the real work.
So my brother is a king now. Just what he needed.
Point, missing it. Oh well.
Stop looking at me.
What's your issue now, little hawk?
Don't Just don't, all right? You're looking for fodder for your stories.
Do you think you're that interesting?
I have enough trouble being overshadowed as it is. I don't need to get caught under an imaginary me, too.
Don't you worry. I'm not in the business of lullabies or children's stories.
Varric?
Carver?
Still think you're helping while bearing us in debt to your brother?
Still riding side saddle while bitching at your betters?
Drinks later?
Never miss 'em.